Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Formula Racing League TV. Welcome back to the Taco Tuesday series. Here we are for round number 5 of the season 21 of this popular racing series that bring us the best of the best on drivers, on tracks, on Assetto Corsa Competizione, console version. I'm Andrea Mattavelli and I'll be commentating for you round 5 of the championship at the trial of the Nordschleife. The legendary Nurburgring is here for testing this driver might, the driver foot and will to brake and to accelerate faster than anyone, but also proceed safe. Because, as you can see, the weather is not very clement as for now within the drivers, as it's raining during the final minutes of the free practice session. We are now watching the leader of the championship, which is the German driver known as Irish, that has changes. They changed his name, the last name, to Martin Crash, which is our real name. Who used to known as Irish, the racing superstar and founder of Schwitzer Racing League. I'm sorry if I butchered. Who won 4 races out of 4, including the last one as that, where the Spanish Sergio Hernandez, here covered by our cameras, had cut the checkered flag in first, but has been later stripped not only of the victory, but also a podium finish by a post-race 20-second time penalty for a racing incident committed by the Spanish driver. So it's still Mountain Crash, the reference for any of these drivers in the Taco Tuesday Tier 1, but as we mentioned before, it is the trial, the Nordschleife, the track used by and venerated by the GT3 drivers who race in the 24 hours in the NLS series, who sits right in the middle of the Eiffel Forest, which are history really great and astonishing, because it is a track who's founded in in 1927 between the two world wars, and since then has been home for some of the most memorable races. First, with a racetrack built around the roads of the roads that connected Adenau, Nurburgring, and Mullenbach in the Eiffel region. Then it went on to become more and more of a racetrack, even if its roots, these signs of such history and such origins are still there, mostly in the Nordschleife track. We're racing, as you can see, on the 24-hour layout, which combines the Nordschleife and the Grand Prix Strecker layout, which last hosted Formula 1 in the Eiffel Grand Prix in 2020. And of course, it's been home, of course, for the Europe Grand Prix and the Luxembourg Grand Prix from the 90s till the 2010s. And of course, this is a track which many drivers, many racing manufacturers hope to push the limits to try to be their best, even if it is to testing a road car or it is to win to 24 hours. One of the crown jewels of racing in the GT3 category. And of course, it's a race very popular in Germany, because many of the names we see on the palmarès are from the nation: Maus Tillmann, Timo Berner, Fritz Müller, Peter Zakowski, Mark Lieb, Herbert Heckler, Klaus Ludwig, Hans-Joachim Stark, Markus Winkelhock, and many more to add to the list. But also some stars from outside Germany, like the Portuguese Pedro Lamy, 5 times winner, Marc Duas from Belgium, Romain Dumas from France, also Kevin van der Linde from South Africa, and Roberto Ravaglia, and Augusto Farfus from Brazil. So many drivers aim to race, to compete, and to win at the Nürburgring. And of course, it's an affair also for the manufacturers, most of all German, because it's been predominance in the latest year by the Germans, with BMW winning 21 times in 24 hours, Porsche is at 30 victories, Audi at 7. Then we had Ford, Chrysler at 5 and 3, Mercedes only at 2, Opel 1, and The only non-German and European manufacturer present on this is the Ferrari, winning in 2023 the 296 GT3 of Fricadelli Racing, driven by Herb Bamber, Nick Kasburg, Felipe Fernandez, and David Pittard. Last winners: Farfus, Kron, Marciello, and Van der Linde in the BMW M4 by Rowe Racing. And now, even though we're not talking about 24-hour, the level of challenge, of preparation, of stress, it will be the same by the drivers who will race today in a 60-minute race. Will be higher than ever, as any mistake in any point of the track is gonna cost them dearly. So let's hope for a good race and hopefully not many crashes, even if the weather is not very clement at the moment. Of course, we're gonna have to wait a few minutes as you see the time's up for the free practice. The checker flag has been waved. Sergio Hernandez is on top of the standing with 8 minutes 39.6 seconds. Second place for Hegemans in the Ferrari, Gierman in another Ferrari, then Godfrey in the McLaren, fourth place by the Belgian driver, then 17 and Jack Prentice for now the last one to have a valid lap time is sixth. Of course, we're all waiting on the others to end their laps. So we jump straight to qualifying. Hopefully you're liking. We have Christopher Gedman who's saluting us. Hello to you, Christopher, and thank you for tuning in for I suppose you're living a lie. And I don't see, that's bad luck for you. I see you now in P30. Let's hope that you are not last and that you leave a like and also have some fun tonight at the Nurburgring. We're waiting just for the other cars who are finalizing their preparations for today's race. Crash is the only one, while Colpitz has finished his lap just now. 5th place for now for the BMW driver. Just 1 second behind Godfrey and 1.1 second ahead of Serfontaine. Of course, rain seemingly doesn't want to stop, but the qualifying, we're gonna jump out in time to 9 p.m. So it looks like to be an evening qualifying session, unless we've been bamboozled by the lap times communicated on the Discord channel. Crash is the last one to actually have to complete a lap. So finish with him. We'll be heading to the qualifying action here. We have to wait. Let's see if it is. Yes, qualifying. It takes place at 9 p.m. in game, so it will be a night qualifying session that adds up to the level of challenge and difficulty that this driver will need to face on for round 5 of the Taco Tuesday Season 21 Tier 1 for PS5 and Xbox players. And hopefully we're having a good time. And now we're back on the pit lane. The green light has been lit and the qualifying session has started. Of course, there's been some mistake because maybe it's still we're using the summer lap time, but it's still quite light. It's not really dark. Hegemans was the first to exit from the pit lane. It's only 50 minutes qualifying, so considering they have to cut the road between the Nordschleife layout and the Grand Prix track, which will be the last turn, the last corner of the Grand Prix track layout. These drivers will mostly have only 2 laps to try to set their fastest lap times. They have to avoid any sort of mistake if they wanted to avoid starting back, which is not really the end of the world at Nurburgring, because it's the important part is to stay completely safe, not make any mistakes, and race smoothly. But of course, if you're aiming for a victory or for the top spot of the championship, starting in the front row always help in that case. Not much viewers for now of the Formula Racing TV YouTube channel. I invite you to join our YouTube channel and also to leave a like and to subscribe so that you don't lose any future streamings for the Taco Tuesday or for the other championship that we have in store for you. Of course, at the same time, we're broadcasting the round 3 of the Touring Car Classic World Tour in the United States of America for R Factor 2, and they're racing at Watkins Glen Short with all the machinery and legendary beasts from the Super Touring era, as Volvo, Alfa Romeo, Renault, Nissan, Honda, BMW, and so many more. So really don't miss that as well, because it's really worth up the watch, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have with Hegemans that will be the first to set a flying lap here in Nordschleife. And of course, with the condition that we have in the track at the moment, the last one to set a lap time risk to be favored by the improvement of the asphalt condition. As you now see, it's not really hot, it's not really optimal, so it will take some minutes to become faster, the asphalt, and that will penalize the driver who will set the lap time first, even if they have more time to avoid. Oh, and the Hageman's attempt was ruined by a Ferrari that was completely in the other way. What was that? I don't know who was, but it was Postel who clearly a big misunderstanding has gone in the way of Saint-Fontaine, of Hageman's, sorry, and so they both have to retake. This is not good for Hageman's. He will have less time. That's not optimal at all. So we're back and let's see Morgan Grace, lot of Ferrari on track tonight. And as you can see, of course, already from the first corner of the Nordschleife, it already is testing the might and the patience of this driver, as Monga Grace go through one of the calling corners, the fluke pass section, as it goes almost flat out, and now really fast on the right-handed corner. Now down. It goes down. Now a little bit up. Now it will go left. Try to maintain the maximum speed. Prepare for the Arenberg braking point. Really going super hard on the brakes here. Morgan Grace. Look, try to take advantage of the curbs for as long as possible. That's what everybody wants to see. Now we have Christie in the pink McLaren, just not a little ahead. Christie in the pink and blue and red McLaren. Some interesting colors used here. Not to criticize everyone, but my taste is this is were not probably the first colors that I would picked up, but okay. By Jamie Christie that is yet to finish a race in this Taco Tuesday series. Two DNFs, for him at round 1 in Kyalami, and at round 3 at Zolder. The other race he did attend, so it will be a big task for him to try to set the fastest lap time, but most of all, try to see the checker flag. Now entering also the Nordschleife, almost no. He's preparing for a flat lap. Monostack from Ukraine. Then we have some good Italian drivers as Matteo De Angelis. Of course, really important Italian participation from this year's Taco Tuesday series. Even the De Angelis campaign has not been lucky. We have only one P32 at his name, and at DNF, while for his connationals, it's not going any better. Alessandro Nitti 36 points, and Marco Lino, they are all in the silver tier, and Marco Lino only 66 points at his name, by Serafino Gerbino in the Lamborghini has come closer and closer to the top half of the rankings as he improved every time. We see him now in the iconic Huracan that is using for this year's championship, blue and yellow Huracan. Samuel Gerbino with a P16, P12 at the third round at Zolder as best result, sitting currently at 77 points, while of course at the top of the championship, still ahead of everyone, Martin Crash of Irish with 4 wins out of 4. Now Gerbino coming into the Caracciola Carousel corner, the most iconic of them all in the Nurburgring landscape. As you see, very difficult with all these blind corners, trying to set up for the best trajectory, the best line, and try to maintain speed as fast as possible through the corners. It's not very easy. Look at Gerbino, really on the limit with wheels on the curbs, and even there try to be aggressive. Of course, no time here for having some thinkings. You have to shut down your brain for a moment and try to do the maximum here, as the asphalt is becoming increasingly faster and faster. Here is Geoffrey Godfroy in the McLaren, which is behind 2 cars that did not see. One of them was a Ferrari. Hopefully with Godfroy will be a good race, a good performance after 2 podiums. First place at Kyalami and second place at that. I thought he was on the podium anyway, even before Sergio Dante's penalty. But the 20 seconds applied to the Spanish driver promoted the Belgian to P2, just as the lacked to Godfroy, and he will hope to repeat such performance with another strong result tonight at the Nordschleife. Let's see the first cast we finish. Back to Monga Glazer after the long straight of the Dottinger through Antoniusburg. Here they go now, a little bit downhill now, then uphill, all flat out, and then brakes heated for the last corners of the Nordschleife section. Try to use any advantage of the curves of the line to try to become even faster. Christie with the fastest time for all, 8 minutes 22 seconds. And Steve Grace does better than the McLaren driver. He does by 3.7 seconds. And so Morgan Grace is in first place and stops right there. Matteo De Angelis, a good lap time as well. He is second by only behind 1.1 second between him and the British driver. Now let's see, Gerding which is followed very, very near by another Ferrari driver and by Geoffrey Godfrey. And it's Serfontaine, the one following from behind. Maybe they're trying some slipstream. Oh, a little bit of touch to the barriers. Let's see if it will influence their lap times. Getting 6th, while Godfrey, with a brilliant performance in the first lap, slots in the second place, 4 tenths behind Morgan Grace, who for now resists at the top of the standing, but not for much longer, because Sharp in another Ferrari steals the top place with 8 minutes 90 seconds, 0.0, 2 tenths faster than Morgan. And so Sharp takes provisional pole. Of course, many names missing. Of course, the top names, which of course we're all waiting for crash first lap in the better Continental of Air. While Gedman finishes a lap time, even if it's further back. Now look at this, Luke Prentice in the straight section. But for now, the top 5 in the rankings say this: Sharp, Grace, Godfrey, the Agilist, and Pospisil, the Czech driver in the Porsche, slotting in 5th place. So, good lap, even by the Czech driver, 1.6 behind Sharp. But now let's see one of the big name, Luke Prentice, in one of the Bentleys. Let's see where he will slot after the first lap, and he's 4 ahead of the Angelis and Pospisil, behind the Sharp, Grace and Godfrey. Good lap by Luke Prentice ahead of the Angelis, but only half a tenth of a second. So real tight already there. Now some car already try again to return to the track and again launch, while Modestack really aiming to do the best in his only 1 lap shootout. And look how fast he is going in his black and purple Porsche. The Agile is straight back into the pits, so qualify over for the Italian man. While Crash is already approaching the Schwalbach-Schwanz section. Is almost approaching. Sorry if I'm butchering any last name or German corner names. As you can clearly hear, German is not my second language. So hopefully I did not make any mistake while, let's see. We see Crash now arriving to the straight, and of course we have to look out for him always, as he will try to aim for the top spot. Ahead of him, one of the Porsche, which is Modestack, which means that they are really, really close. Hack and Crash, all eyes on them. So the Ukrainian goes to the final corner of the Nordschleife section. Watch out for the bumps, watch out for the curbs. You don't want the car to slow too much down for the exit of the final corner. Back to the Grand Prix track layout. Let's see where Modestack will arrive. Then Crash. Oh, Crash has stopped. Crash has stopped. Maybe made a mistake. While Hack only could do 12th place. Let's see if Crash can relaunch for another lap. But I don't think he can. He takes the checker flag and he's only 16th. So really bad qualifying. Surprised by the German driver, who start no further up than 16th. And we have to wait for other cars to cross the finish line. Qualifying ended. Waiting for the cars to reach the finish line. We have still some minutes left. And as for now, as we speak, Sharp is still on provisional pole. But the question is, can he hold on to it, or will it be overtaken by some other faces? The fact that two of the biggest protagonists of this season, Crash and Anderson, will be forced to start behind is quite a huge shock, at least for me. Because I said United maybe for some penalty issues did not even leave the garage, while Crash it was a mistake in the just in the Hoerain section, and that is all it took for him to just throw it all away. Meanwhile, we're back with the other practice brother, Jake, in the other Bentley. A more colorful one with colors and resemblance to the Union Jack, of course. Let's see if Jake can beat his brother Luke, who currently sits in 4th place. It's a real sight to see this car unleash all the horsepowers and revs through the scenery of the Eiffel Forest. It truly is a real sight for the eyes. Now let's see. Jake Prentice to the final corners. Let's see if his lap time will be better or worse than his brother Luke, who currently sits 4th. Here comes to the line Jake Prentice, and it's only 17th behind Morgan Crash, so bad qualifying even for him. I assume he will not be happy by what happened. Well, watch out for by one of the German, Sven Müller, who's really aiming to some strong result after a not so great campaign for now by Stephen, who only has a native place at round 2 at Bathurst as his best result so far. Hopefully the likes of him and other German drivers will do better in their home race, a race that will be really felt, I can only imagine. Stefan Müller approaching the head of his lap time. He was 4.1 seconds behind Sharp. Let's see if he can improve time and position. And he can. What a jump it was by Stefan Müller, who goes into the front row, 2nd place on less than 2/10 behind Sharp. That for now stays in contention for a pole that would mean really great for him. That would really mean. Let's see now another one of the German drivers, Gerding, approaching the end of the race. No, this one is Dutch. No, the Dutch is Gilbert, which is behind. Sorry, I'm trying to not be lost behind all these drivers. And Gerling goes into the top, 8 minutes 70 seconds, 0.9. But let's see if Sharp can retake back. And he can, 60 seconds, 0.9. That's a marvelous lap, Sharp, giving 1 second straight to Gerling. That might be enough. That might be enough for pole position. Unless Godfrey, Grace, and others will say something about it. Motorweg in the Lamborghini is 3rd, ahead of Müller, behind Sharp and Gerling. But we see drivers like De Angelis, Christie, Safontaine, the one behind, who have all done, cannot further improve. Back into the pits. Let's see now if Luke Prentice, if he can take the opportunity of faster track and hotter tires to improve and to take a Bentley on pole position here at the Nordschleife. Let's see, Luke Prentice coming into the final straight, into the line. You see, Prentice can beat the lap time. He is not third, 2 seconds behind Sharp. While we see Geoffrey Godfrey now approaching the end of his last attempt to pole. The McLaren driver from Belgium. And then will be shortly followed by Morgan Grace. I saw Godfrey second. Great lap time by the Belgian, but Grace goes even faster. 8 minutes 16.6 and still Sharp from the top spot. And that might be it. I don't see anyone potentially improving. Let's see. There's Volkmann and Gerbino. There is Brown, Gordon Brown, our beloved FRL admin, and Handley. We are now finishing the lap times. We see where they will land. As for now, the top 5 says Grace, Sharp, Godfrey, Gerding, and Prentice. We see if he's destined to change or will we stay the same. Let's see. Gordon Brown, happy with how last race turned out as Denton, and for now he's 5th. Good lap by Brown, and look at Haji Mans, who out of nowhere reclaims top 5 with a great lap time. And let's see, Volkmann and Tudor, the last one to finish the lap times. Here is Volkmann, who is 5th. Great lap by Volkmann, 1.5 seconds behind though to Morgan Grace, who manages to hold on and take a pole position for round 5 of the Taco Tuesday series, round 5 of season 21. That is absolutely incredible by the British driver. We start on pole at the Green Hell with Sharp on the front row, Godfrey and Gerding on the second row, Volkmann and Hedgeman behind, Brown and Prentice on row 4, Modweg Muller on row 5, Handley the Angelis Postol, that is a row really like a scioglilingua, we'll be saying in Italy, the Christy Hafter actor Mido. Look at this crash, the dominator of this championship, Marine Crash, only P22, Jack Prentice, P23, Sergio Nanderson, no time, P27. That should leave a lot of room for some great overtakes, for some great battles, and for some great action here at the Nurburgring Nordschleife round of this this electrifying season 21 of the Taco Tuesday series tier 1. Just a few minutes of pause, minutes of calm, and then the tempest will unfold at the Green Hell. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Nurburgring, welcome back to the Taco Tuesday Season 21 Tier 1 Series, una sette corsa competizione, back for round 5 of the season, and we'll be having a blast on the Eiffel Forest. The Nurburgring is ready to welcome his driver to the trial of the Green Hell, and even though it's not raining, it will be real complex and testing and extenuating, astonishing for the drivers. We have to survive 1 hour of the Nordschleife for trying to take the victory or try to take a good result. And Morgan Grace start on pole position with Sharp on the front row, then Godfrey, Gerling, Volkmann, Hagemans, Brown, Prentice, Monweg, Mulder, and look behind we have Crash in P22, Sergio Hernandez in P27, big names at the back of the grid who will be trying to make a comeback, maybe making good use of the other mistakes. It will be important to don't commit mistakes, to don't commit any dive bomb or any optimistic overtake, let's say. And so the time is up, the engines are revving again, and as you can see, the drivers are already going on double row for the starting procedures here at the Nurburgring Nordschleife. Of course, if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and also support us on Patreon, where we'll make sure we bring you more championship, more commentary, more quality content like this. So thank you to everyone who has supported this far. And if you want to help, you're welcome. Even if you're watching live, or even if you recover later on our YouTube channels. And now we're both ready to unleash the hell at the Green Hell, as we're now going to, first of all, say hello to Aunt Papa, who's waving at us, and then it will be fire and flames at the Nurburgring. I repeat, Morgan Grace starting on the pole position with Sharp on the front row, and then on the others is the green flag, and here we are going for the Nurburgring race. Grace started well, as well as Sharp, who will try already a move into the Mercedes arena. Sharp on the inside of Grace. Watch out for any visible contact, but Grace stays ahead of his compatriot with Godfrey staying in third. Then he's getting Volkmann and all the others. We have to wait a little bit to see if there has been any movement from behind, but Grace did not make a mistake, and so he stays ahead of Sharp, then Godfrey, then Gerling, Volkmann, Hagemans. Then we have Gordon Brown already having some troubles with Christie having a great start. You see, recovering some places. Then it seems like Modestack is recovering some places as well. Already behind the Pospisil. Of course, we'll be waiting for the first sector times to see how the rankings have to be changed after the start. But Grace still leading as they are now going into the last section of the Grand Prix track layout. Sharp really following the tail of his compatriot. Ferrari versus Ferrari up front, then the McLaren of Godfrey not too far behind. And there goes the corner, and now they enter the Nordschleife arena. From now there, it's only a matter of survival and see who will make the mistake first. And for now, not many overtakes, but Brown has made some mistakes, and Don't know what happened, but now it's at the far back of the grid. Behind even one of the Bentley, which I assume it's a Tudok, and Tudok let him through, and look at all of this, all the action in the heart of the central group. Luke Prentice trying to handle Handley, but Handley almost losing it behind the Bentley. Now to the flux plug, where the cars reach to fly if they're not careful enough with the downforce and with the speed and with the wind. And we all understand that's a real good looking section with all the cars going over 200 kilometers per hour. For the American, over 150 miles per hour or even more. As we now see the first section times, and as you can see, Brown has lost a couple of places alongside Postel, Hafner and Gerbino. So maybe there has been some contact that we didn't see in the Grand Prix track layout, while ahead of us there has not been some action. They're all race cleanly so far, with Grace and Sharp leading the pack, Godfrey in third, Gelding in fourth, Volkmann in fifth, then Hagemans, Luke Prentice in seventh, Handley with a great start in eighth, Monoweg in ninth, then Müller and Pospisil in P11 ahead of Matilde Agents, Modestack, Christie, Luke Colpitz, Marvin Kreis, Jack Prentice, Marvin Kreis already climbed up to P16, while Sergio Nad is stuck behind in P26. So not a good looking start for the Spanish driver, while Kreis is already up to business as he's now approaching the pair of Christie and Colpitz, the pink pair, based on the colors of their McLaren BMW machinery. And look how really there has plenty of speed on the corners compared to Colpitz, and there's been a yellow flag. It's been the car number 87. It's Van der Slot. Van der Slot has lost it, and I think there has also been another car, maybe Skalugin. Don't know if there happened something between the Dutch driver and the Russian, but that doesn't seem real good for both of them. Grace and Sharp trying to escape from the group of Godfrey, Gerling, and Volkmann fighting for third place. Then Hagemans, Prentice, Handley, Monoweg and Müller will all have to be watching for these three drivers fighting for the last place on the podium for now, as we see now someone going slowly, don't know what happened. Oh, and that's Colpitz. Colpitz with a heavy damage on the front of his BMW. Don't know what happened. Oh, and there's a Ferrari up to the wall. Bang! Well, the black, white Ferrari, that's his Lino. And the other Ferrari, don't know what it is. It's Postel. Leon Postel already out of the race. That's a real shame, as Colpitz is trailing to try to get his car back to the pits. But this is a disaster because he will lose so much time. Don't know what happened, but this is the difficulty and the challenges of the Nurburgring. Only one mistake and it is over for you and for the other cars that stay behind or just sliding on your left or your right. That's what happens when you even lose concentration, even for a microsecond here. Meanwhile, Hagemans joining the group of Godfrey, Gerling and Prentice, and behind them we see Prentice ahead. They also getting real close. Let's jump up already on Hagemans on board on his Ferrari, trying to catch and put some pressure on Volkmann. We've seen how difficult it is to follow the cars in the heavy twisted section of the Nordschleife. Then we see ahead of us Razor Sharp successfully putting a distance between them and Godfrey. The Belgian driver still trying on his best to take advantage of the situation. But of course, it seems like the Ferrari are on another level today. 5 Ferraris on the top 6 spot. Mueller even in the top 10 with another Ferrari. And De Angelis for now with his best placement of the season. For now in P21, and look, it's Monderwego who made a mistake too, so he lost more places. The Lamborghini driver who's now stuck behind the Getman, so must be P19 for the Lamborghini driver. Well, ahead of us for now, no real mistakes from what we can see. Only pressure and try to not commit any error. Not on the Grand Prix track, but on the Nordschleife. The green hell that a monster that awaits for his next victims. Of course, it's not easy to follow all the cars at the same time. It's not easy to follow which battles may concur. So we have to just keep our eyes real vigilant. Of course, there are some fans here. Clay T says, go on box. Thank you, Clay, for the comment. Well, we see now Hensley getting real close to Luke Prentice at this lap to the Grand Prix track. We'll see how he will handle the Nordschleife now as they enter through the Hudson back and T13. And look at how the McLaren is really trying to approach the Bentley to try to make himself a constant presence into Prentice mirrors. And while Luke is trying to hold on for 7th, Jack Prentice is here fighting for P14, and he's done it, overtaking Christie. No, it's Sergio Nance behind him, sorry. So good stop even for Crash after some difficult lap from Hernandez. He's now climbing up the order. He's up into 16th, while Crash is 13th. Modestack has lost a couple of places behind Crash, so Crash is P12. Right, we're looking for now at Jake Handley on his endless, seemingly pursuit of Luke Prentice, a reserve driver, but it's real one of the strongest one, as you can see, V8 now for the McLaren driver. And he's hoping to try to make a way past the Prentice for P7. Well, ahead of us, no news reported. It's still Grace up the front with Sharp following at 1 second. Then Godfrey trying his best to stay on the podium in P3. Then getting involved by the Hagemans, Luke Prentice and Jake Handley and Stefan Müller. Pospisil, really, backup Pospisil, really tight up front. And he's still missing Martin Crash, who now is in P12. And oh, someone has got a little off, some grass in the air. While look at Handley trying on the outside of Prentice. That's a brave one. That's a brave one if I ever see him from the straight track, but he has to stay behind Prentice as they now approach the famous carousel corner. But you can see that Handley is real, trying to push Prentice into mistake and trying to put in pressure to get up another place. The third driver really no remorse, no fear of the green hell tonight. And while Luke Prentice is trying to stay even closer to avoid the Hagemans, who now currently stands in 6th place. And look at this, look at this. While I had Gary Boltzmann already trying their best to reach Godfrey, leave the pack behind. Look at how these drivers race real closely, and I think they and the fans will absolutely love this sight. We see what this race will have in store for us. As we've seen a yellow flag. It's Gedman, I believe. Yes, it is Gedman. An incident for the Porsche driver. And this is not good for him. Why Handley might have to settle down for now, because Luke Prentice is seemingly not happy anyway for 7. And so Handley will have a shot to look behind for Stefan Müller, battling Pospisil, who are coming back. Oh, a mistake by Stefan. Maybe this is the shot Pospisil has been waiting for as they now approach the Gargan Cup corner, and Pospisil manages to take advantage of the occasion and go up 9th place. Good conduct of race for Pospisil, which made himself useful and attacked in the moment that Stefan Müller made a mistake after Clayton's carousel. And so Pospisil up into 9th. While we see now Prentice pushing down Handley on the gaps, taking advantage of Bentley's Continental engine, big powerful engine, and the top speed compared to the McLaren. Oh, another mistake, I believe, always by Stefan Müller. Maybe he lost another place in front of by the head of the Angels, who now got up into the top 10. It is so not really a good race phase by Stefan Müller, who tries to now hold on. Marine crash for 11. That is quite a hard task, if you ask me. Even considering the mistakes he did in the last 2 minutes. And look at Pospisil, already trying to push Handley, who's now struggling after coming real close to Prentice on some laps earlier. On board with Pospisil, on board with his Porsche and his Hunter. to P8 and Hadley. And look at this Pospisil trying in the chicane. Oh, look at Handley and Pospisil going in contact. Pospisil forced to take the grass shortcut, and Handley don't know how, but manages to stay ahead of Handley after they have been pushing to the what would be the handicapped chicane zone, but possibly would be not happy by the conduct of the British Reserve. Maybe thought that the corner would be there, but and they made a mistake, and I think he's gone into the barriers. I think he has, and now he lost another couple of places behind also the Angeles, and now he reunited his duel with the with Müller and with Barbie Crash, who's now real on his tail. That's not at all optimal for Angeles, who now almost blocking the other cars. Stefan Müller trying to find a way to get past the McLaren driver with Crash all following. Look at him on this side, almost off Müller, but the German driver says, no, I won't let you overtake me. I'm fighting for the top 10 and I want to stay there like that. So Crash stays in P12. Just a shame though for Andy, who was really doing well, following practice so well, but eventually he pushed too much, and now the tires are paying the price, and also his drive is not really beneficial. But that advantage is possibly also the Angelis, who climbed up to 9th place. A great race so far, but the Italian driver as well as the Czech driver, who's really get us familiar with his comebacks. And now that's held back to Crash, Martin Crash, trying all he can do to overtake Stefan Müller for P11. But for now it's no use. The Ferrari seemingly having another pace. Oh, little bit wide ahead. Müller does not take advantage, as well as Crash. That's some difficulties for Adley, that I believe Crash Hernandez will look up for any eventual opportunities. And look at Hernandez getting real closer to his arch-nemesis Crash. This is the battle between the top two in the ranking. And let's see, Hernandez will manage to say to Crash, if you don't mind, I will go ahead, thank you very much. If the German law will be persistent here with Crash, try to push hard Müller and try to take an overtake that for now seems impossible as they approach the mid-curve. And look at Sergio Hernandez almost wheel to wheel with Crash. But no use, and goes into the barriers, and another contact, and that's not good at all for this car. And now Müller has come to slow down a little bit. Crash almost took advantage, but again he has to bail out. And Hernandez is still right up his tail as they approach the car carousel. But this is real tight now. A battle for the top 10 spot. That Crash Hernandez should not mean so much, but Adley Müller can beat all the world here at the Nordschleife. real interesting action here. And look at Hernandez up the side, almost a crash at the Holy Hacked corner. And it's a fiery Hernandez trying to get fire on this rear of crash. And look at him again. That's not a place to pass. That's a place that you want to force your opponent into a mistake. Look at the crash with his rear tires almost sliding. It looks like another saying, okay, it is my time. I'll try again and again, and almost contact between the top two in the rankings. And others trying everything, and Crash not giving an inch. Looks like a battle for the title. It's a battle for the P12. Even if they are top two in the rankings, but they are giving everything they got into Nordschleife. Someone got win off. That is not bad well. There might be maybe again Hede and Müller, who are now really close to each other. Again, as Crash and Hernandez try again to reignite the fight. But now we have to see. We had the Müller. As now the two pairs become a unique group of four. Poker and Hernandez almost losing it. This is not a place to lose the rear, my friend. And look, Müller, another mistake. That's the opportunity that Mari Crash has been waiting for, and he overtake the Ferrari driver to take P11, and now Hernandez stuck between the Ferrari. Mari Crash into P11, and now he can begin his heart to Hende at the top 10 spot. Real wonderful action here in this phase of the race. While ahead of us, they all distant to each other. Morgan Grace still leading the pack. Sharp second and Godfrey third. Real excellent drive by the two British drivers in first and second. And also clean conduct by Geoffrey, the Belgian, who is now P3 and is aiming to add another podium place up to his tally for season 21. Reminding that Geoffrey Godfrey is third in the standings. For now, he aims to claim a good haul of points to recover on Crash and most of all on Hernandez, while Stefan Müller says, I had enough of this and I'm spending my mandatory pit stop now, as well as Christie, who comes into the pit lane right now. Oh, and look at this crash again with his rear tire sliding. Hernandez feels the perform of 11th place and feels the smell of revenge. And so let's see Hernandez and the hairpin. He goes into the side of a crash. These are real small margins as he tries to overtake before the Michael Schumacher as they're both side to side. And a real fighting, incredible battle between the top two in the rankings. Hernandez manages to get past the Crash for P11. What a great fight between them. Crash maybe not too happy. He lights up his front signal, say, Hernandez, man, I'm trying to overtake Andy, and you ruined my plans. But the sprint driver is having none of it. And now he begins the hunt to Andy, who can take maybe 1-2 seconds of rest, but not too much, because you see that he almost lost it at the NGK section before entering the Nordschleife section. And that really is a proof of how hard and difficult it is to race at the Nordschleife. And look, 30 minutes from now, it will start to rain. It will start to rain. If this race cannot get any crazier, it can. And we've rained just at the final stretch of the race. This will be real fun to watch, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you right now. This will be real fun to watch. So stay on, stay tuned till the last second of the race, because we might be here for a classic here at the Formula Racing League Taco Tuesday Season 21. While now we see again Sergio Hernandez closing in on Jake Hadley for 10th place. Let's see how the Spanish driver will approach another mistake by Jake Hadley. It looks like his tires are done, and Hernandez now tries the outside of Handley, outside, and he does it in spectacular fashion, and now he's in P10. Very well done, by saying that it's a top 10 for him, ahead of Handley and Crash. Nice comeback by Spanish driver, who had not really good opening up, but then started to climb the pack, and now he's in top 10, 5 seconds behind the Andrews, but now anything is possible to try to take a strong result here. Speaking of the Italian, he's now following Pospisil and Prentice, still in the fight for 7th place. And look at the Porsche driver, putting pressure on the Ipswich Town-based driver for the Bentley Continental. Pospisil for Czech Republic, or Czechia, as they're calling it today in the Winter Olympics at Milano Cortina. But Pospisil is having none of it. He's trying to aim for Prentice P7 before the Angelis reaches the both of them. And that's a stop and go for Geldman after his mandatory pit stop, and that's no good at all. That really ruins his entire race. And that is a good moment, I think, ladies and gentlemen, as we're reaching the half mark of this 16-minute race, to go on board with the Angelis Ferraris. As we see from his point of view, the duel between Prentice and Pospisil will become a triangle, duel of three between him, Prentice, Pospisil, and the Angelis. On board with him, the Angelis Ferrari.
We are halfway through.
As you can see, Prentice taking a slight advantage of Pospisil's aggressive driving to try to make some taps up to the Porsche driver. And even though his Bentley is not quite sharp at cornering, it's real stable, and with a great top speed that makes him favorite in trying to defend between the Pospisil, while there's another big car crash just before, and Christie and Mueller have crashed during the corner before the Caracciola-Russell section. And Mueller re-entered the pits. Christie is proceeding slowly, and that is a real shame for Mueller, who's now see his race completely jeopardized. Look at Prentice with a mistake. Pospisil sees the chance He has a better exit speed, but he have to deal with a Bentley top speed in about shortly. Second now join the Andres. Let's see who between Postbis and Apprentice we have the best for 7th place. It's a battle, it's a drag battle, a drag race, and Postbis manages to get past Apprentice, making sure that his mistake was costly for the Bentley driver. So Postbis is out into 7. Apprentice 8, while De Angelis and Nantes. De Angelis has not a place to end Nantes. Sharp and Volkmann decided that it's time for the mandatory pit stop and decide to enter the pit later. Oh, getting Hegemans, Apprentice, Postbis, almost. Apprentice, no, not Postbis, but Hernandez. It's almost a congestion here at the entry of the pit lane. Godfrey, Postbis, De Angelis are the only one that decide, no, I'm going to stay on the track one more lap, and as well as Crash. And see that Crash now is avoiding all the traffic. That might be the right move for him, because now he's free to race on his own pace. And look, the 10 minutes from now, it will start to rain. It will start to rain. So if Godfrey, Postbis, De Angelis, Crash, and even Jake Prentice can manage to hold on, maybe for 2 laps, and wait for the eventual rain to come and get the track wet, maybe they will get a brilliant journey. They can manage to turn the tides of their races. And so for now, Godfrey leading the race for now. But you also have to wait. Update of the weather. And now we have to wait as Hafner decides I'm going to the pits as well, but with the weather we have to wait. Sorry if I'm not speaking anymore. I'm waiting for updates. And look at this, Grace managed to overtake Hegemans after the pit stop. Sorry about that. So Grace up into... We have to wait. It will be maybe 8th place, 9th place, between where Jake Prentice it is at the moment, but it probably is 8th place. Let's see. I have to wait a little bit. Luke Prentice as overtaking Crater Heidemans. There something has happened that we didn't catch. I was checking a few things. So now the pair of Grace and Heidemans has fallen back. So now the first with the mandatory pit stop complete is are Volkmann and Sharp. But of course, we have to wait until the arrival of the rain, which will be at any moment now. So it could be a real big jolly for Godfrey, Pospisil, De Angelis, Crash, Prentice, and Mondeweg, who for now are staying out, waiting for news on the weather side. For now, the ranking says Godfrey leading, Pospisil second, De Angelis third, then Crash, Prentice, Mondeweg, Volkman, Sharp, Brown, and Prentice. 11th place for Monga Grazer, who was leading the race before the pit stop. Then something happened. Don't know what, but he has lost, I say, 12 or 30 seconds with Johnny Sharp, and then lost place even to Luke Prentice. While Sergio Hernandez, the overtaking even H-Mans, so his comeback continues. And look at this, Sergio Hernandez trying already to go past the Hagemans. Oh, and that's a brave maneuver for Hernandez, who takes P12 by the hands of Walter Hagemans. Great stuff by the Spanish driver. Will inspire today at the Green Hell. But maybe his choice to go before at the pit stop was not the right one, as in a couple of minutes, even less, we could see the rain falling down at the Nurburgring, and that will put things in favor of the top 6, who are yet to stop. We have to wait. For now, there's no sign of raining or any part of the circuit. Maybe you're there with Coppets or Calugino, so we have to wait a few moments, as we have 90 minutes left for this race. So there must be, I think, 3 laps left. There will be eventually 24, 25 minutes still for this race at the Nurburgring Nordschleife. Reminder that it is round 5 of the Tactical Tuesday Series Championship. Look, Godfrey decided it's time to pit, so Jeffrey Godfrey into the pits. Let's say what will be the thing for Pospisil, De Angelis, and the rest of the others. Pospisil say coming to the pits, De Angelis as well, and Crash, what is called, and he's staying out. Crash is staying out. He's betting on the rain. He's betting on the rain to come and wet the track entirely. That is risky at the moment, because I see not sign of the rain, but we have to wait. Let's see Jake Prentice. He following Crash. It's the Bentley brothers. Not the Bentley brothers, but the Bentley gang. Try to bet against the other, and Mondeweg is following them too. And Godfrey has completed his pit stop as well as possible. They behind both Moldweg, Volkmann and Sharp. Brown at the pit stop, so Godfrey Postbusi re-enter ahead of Luke Prentice. While Crash leading this race and betting as well as Prentice and Moldweg on the arrival of the rain in any minute to wet the track and try to get them as a justification to use the wet tires for the last stretch of the race, because you don't want to end up on the wrong tires at the Nurburgring. If you're going to be on the slick with wet tires, it would be the nightmare of nightmares. So it's a bold move, but let's see if it will be the right call. All pressure on them now, as their friends, their pit crew will be doing the rain dance. And there it comes! Here comes the rain! Here comes the rain at the opening section of the Nordschleife. And so you have to wait for the track evolution, because now the rain will fall and will wet the track, and this will be interesting. As you can see, it's passed from optimal to fast, so it's really worsening out already. I saw it could be the winning bet for Crash, for Prentice, and for Moldweg. We'll have to wait just a little longer. Now the track is slippery. That is not what the others want to hear, but that's what's happening. Now the challenge for Crash, Prentice and Moldweg is to hold on with used tires and try to don't make any mistakes whatsoever. We see now Godfrey with a Lamborghini ahead of him. Oh, there might be Moldweg. That means that Godfrey has made a mistake, has already grown on the mistake of the rain, and that is the worst place now for them. As Postbus is lost also a couple of places for Prentice, Grace, again, Hangmaster. So it's all changing again as Tudo, Canino, Christie decide it's time to head back to the pits to put wet tires. And now we have to wait for Crash and Prentice, because of course they still have one mandatory stop to go, but Volkmann and Sharp behind. They will also come to the pits to put wet tires. And the Bentley are some of the most stable cars that I've ever seen. So it's all in their favor now. It's all in their favor now. We just have to see if anything happens to them. And since we're now in a delicate phase of the race, we're back on board, but this time we've seen the rear of Luke Prentice, rear wing, as he's been chased by Grace and Gerling. See for yourself what it means to drive with 6 tires on a rainy Nurburgring. As you can see, it's not easy for the Ferrari drivers to try to take advantage of practice, because even if they're faster on the corners, they're not really stable, where they not really have some strong rear grip, and this goes to advantage of practice. And of course, of the Bentley gang, with Crash and Prentice leading the pack, and now Crash is aiming for a 5th consecutive victory out of a 5 race, and that will be real astonishing if he can manage to hold on, of course. And look at Prentice now coming closer to Nordschleife, who is in P6 with his Lamborghini. And look how Nordschleife going into the gravel. This could be a chance for Luke Prentice. Now the track is becoming progressively wet as Prentice gets past Nordschleife for 6th place. And look, Nordschleife is in real struggle right now. We have to deal with the Ferrari gang. 3 Ferraris of Grace, Gerling, Hagemans, all behind him. And now Crash into the pits for his mandatory pit stop. And it's just the perfect moment to change the tires and take the slicks off to go to the full wets. And if I'm not mistaken, maybe we can see even this as the final lap, as now the clock reaches 9 minutes left. And now we see Martin Crash stopped with the intent of doing the final pit stop and putting the wet. Also, Jack Prentice comes into the pits. We see now Volkmann and Sharp. What will be the strategy? Volkmann is forced to go into the pits. Sharp stays out. Don't know if maybe he sacrificed the first few. He put the wet before everyone else and sacrificed the first few laps. And now he's trying to risk it all, or he's trying to risk it all now, staying on the slicks. But Crash has already rejoining the track. So Crash is in second. No, is in third, between Sharp and Godfrey, ahead of Luke Prentice. So for now the timetable will say Sharp, Godfrey, Crash into the podium places. But now Crash has a bigger advantage. Fresher, wetter tires. While technically, don't know about Sharp and Godfrey. Maybe they are on wet and they sacrifice the first few laps, waiting for the rain. If that's the case, it would be jackpot for both of them. But again, we will have to wait. But even so, for Crash is another incredible comeback from 16, 17, and now is in the podium places. We have to watch for his gap between himself and a pair of Sharp and Godfrey. We have to see Godfrey comes into the GK chicane. I tried to count myself. There must be 8 seconds between him and Godfrey. So 8 seconds. Try to recover there. Less than 6 minutes left. While we're waiting, we have to see Morgan Grace overtaking Luke Prentice for 6th place. He must be 6th place. Oh, but goes a little wide, goes into the barriers, and that is not at all optimal. Prentice tries to take back the place, and he does. Hageman takes the place as well from Morgan, and oh, comes a little bit closer for comfort. Look at Crash, third still, but now only 3.5 seconds behind Godfrey. So it's really pushing. It's all or nothing now for the German tank, the German Meister. We Crash trying to crash the position, and now is aiming to Godfrey at the 2nd place. Then will be the turn of Sharp. They're both of the top 2 trying to stay out. I presume for the worst start, because they could be still 6 and they are really struggling, or they could be on used wets and they have the disadvantage of getting burned on the first few laps, first few kilometers on the dry condition. In any case, Crash is doing all he can now to catch on Godfrey. And look, Godfrey real struggling. No, this is what is sharp. So Godfrey is trying to overtake, but they both losing time. And now look what they are seeing in the mirror. It's Crash and Sharp goes into the wall, and that's a real bad damage. Crash get up to P2, and now he's trying to overtake Sharp for first place. And let's see, it's batting against McLaren. Traction, wet tires against the McLaren that by will of force. He's doing what he can do with his braking point to try to stay ahead by Crash by any means necessary. So, great defense by Godfrey, who still wants this victory and is aiming to do the impossible to keep Marin behind. But Crash seemingly not having any of it and tries to push and try to force an overtake on Godfrey. And look at him trying to go inside, outside, right, left, trying to force the Belgian to do a mistake. Here is the spot. Can Godfrey make it? Can Crash make it on the outside before the Caracciolo carousel? Look at them again side by side, and look from the outside, and that's a brilliant overtake for Crash, who takes the lead of the race. Absolute overtake. A round of applause for this driver, ladies and gentlemen, who started at 16-17 from the back of the grid to the bottom half, and now he's leading the race at the Nurburgring, at the Grey Hell. It's his home race, and this sure shows what a phenomenal driver, phenomenal racecraft by Crash, who's now aiming to make 5 victories in a row out of 5 races on the season 21 on Taco Tuesday Tier 1 Championship, and that is quite an achievement. A gentle reminder that our dear Crash in art Irish had won 5 racing in season 16 when there were only 6 races, not 7, and now Irish is going on par with season 16, because now there's no way anyone could ever reach to him. And so Godfrey Sharp are left with the scraps, quoting marks, for 2nd place, even though it's still a brilliant result for them. Behind them, Luke Prentice tried to hold on Sergio Hernandez, Round of applause for him because he started outside the top 20 and now he is in the top 5. Hopefully nothing bad will happen to the Spanish driver this time. Pit window closed, less than 1 minute from the end of the race, so this will be almost certainly the final lap of this race. And look at Prentice and Hernandez fighting for 4th place, and Hernandez not giving anything, not giving up yet. We hope to try to catch any some points where Hageman's holding off Morgan Grace, will be biting his head for what it could have been if he stayed 1 lap more to try to take the gamble on the wet tires of the rain. But this is motorsport. Sometimes you may call, and sometimes this course doesn't work out. But here the crash call did indeed work out. As we now back with him, don't think that Hernandez and Prentice could overtake from Pospisil, overtaken the Grace, so it's up into P7, I think. Look at them, as now he's approaching, closer, Hernandez, and good Prentice, who touches, and now let's see, with Pospisil coming real close, aiming for 2 in a row, aiming for 2 in or 1 overtake on the straight, Pospisil, and it's a free slide. Whoa! And it's disaster. Hernandez onto the barriers as a freeway contra the Prims. Pospisil, but for crash. He came, he saw, he conquered the green hell and wins round 5 on Nurburgring with Jochen Frank Goldfrey in 2nd and Johnny Sharp in 3rd place. Luke Prentice will manage to hold on 4th place, and in that very twist of event, Pospisil will take up 4th ahead of Luke Prentice, then Sergio Hernandez, Hagemans, Grace, Handley, Gerding, and Jake Prentice. A disaster for Sergio Hernandez. Maybe he will have a small talk with Pospisil and Prentice. And look, he already bumping to the rear of the Bentley. Not empty. He almost come by. It will be a heated post-race in the garages of Porsche and Bentley, ladies and gentlemen. Samuel Gibino, the best of the tires once again. 13th place for the Lamborghini driver. 14 will be for Monerweg, then Gordon Brown, 15 in the Ferrari, Matteo De Angelis in 16, Modest Arki 17, Hafner in 18, Rolf Gierman in 19th, Jack Christie in 12, Marcolino in 21st, 22nd for Sefontaine, 23rd for Coppis, 24th for Kalugin, Gedman, Mueller to look to round up the standings, and that have been a hell of a race for the Green Hell. That has been phenomenal. I hope you really like it as well, as we've seen 8 spectators. Not much comment this evening, but hopefully you liked it, and hopefully you appreciated my comment and my coverage of this incredible race at the 24-hour on Nürburgring. As we see the last drivers cross the finish line. Here is Modestak in the 17. Here is the Ukrainian and the checker flag. There will be Hafner in the Ferrari number 220 in 18th. There will be Ralf Giemann, Jay Christie, Marcolino, Sefontaine, Colpitz. But what a race it has been for Rush, with aiming again at him at the side of his Bentley. 5 victories in a row out of 5 races for the German Meister, the German Tag. That's simply extraordinary from him. And I think at this point it's safe to say that he has the championship in the bag. There's only he can lose the championship at this point of the season, because there's just too many victories and he always performs at the highest level. Maybe if someone bombs his Bentley, sabotages his car, or makes him ill so he can avoid participating in the last 2 races, maybe there would be still a chance for Sergio Hernandez and the other, but Crash has been incredibly top-notch quality, and with his call, it was a risky one, but it got the right timing for the mandatory pit stop, for the change from slicks to wet tires, and this made the difference. Here's Jay Christie, the reserve driver in the Pick McLaren, coming home into P18th. There will be Marco Lino, not too far behind, as we see now, approaching the final corners in 18th, the Italian driver. There we see Serfontaine. Oh, Serfontaine lost a place to Colpitz. So a mistake for Serfontaine in the latter stages of the race. Luke Colpitz so grabbing back another place. A race compromised by the crash in the opening lap. That forced him to early pit stop. But he persisted, and now he will see the checker flag. That is a result always worth of mention. And then the last driver that will reach the checker flag should be the Russian Kalugin, which is still far back. Kalugin has the worst condition now to race, but he's holding it together to see the checker flag. And that deserves also a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, then we say Jasmine Racing, good race that. Indeed, Jasmine, thank you for commentating. It was a good race with all the variables of the Nurburgring, of the weather. It did not disappoint us. It did not disappoint us. And I hope it didn't disappoint the drivers, even if there have been some mistakes, some car crashes. But obviously, we had a ton of fun. And I hope we have a lot of fun also for the next round, where the paddock will transfer to my home event, because I live 1-2 hours from him, Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, for a 90-minute special at night next Tuesday for the round number 6 of the championship. Then, of course, you have to stay, and you have to watch even Sunday for the Sprint Sunday Championship. We will be touching again the Temple of Speed this Sunday, so really do not miss. I know there are the Olympics, but these are the spectacle. These are the show that it's worth watching. And these are the final provisional rankings, with Martin Crash taking another win to his tally, Godfrey second, Sharp third, then Pospisil, Prentice, Hernandez. But we have to see if Hernandez will have something to say about that after he was penalized last time as Netterton. The Hagemans, Grace Hadley and Jake Prentice rounding up the top 10. And that concludes our live coverage for tonight's race. It's been a real pleasure to commentate here at the Nurburgring, and I hope you found it entertaining, and I hope you will continue to support us on YouTube, on our Discord channel, on the Patreon page. You can find us on our links. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be Formula Racing League TV. We'll come back next week at Monza for another round, which I hope will be real fun and real action-packed. But for today is all. It's Andrea Mattavelli, and from the Nurburgring, it's time to say goodbye and good night to you all.